Hello everyone, welcome back. We are not going to give up. I just have to keep coming back. We have a very interesting week ahead, and I do want to ensure that I pass this information to every one of you so that we can all be on the same page as we prepare for the second half of the week. So I welcome you all back again, and I do hope that this time around it will not abruptly stop again. So like I was saying, we are delving into the US oil spot market, and I did mention earlier how oil spot is caught within war fears, which is obviously pushing it to the upside. And of course, we saw a high inventory report, which was one of the reasons that incited this massive move to the downside, taking out all of the buy positions we took at the beginning of the week. Now, the API reported that US crude oil stockpile rose by 1.2 million barrels last week, showing that there is plenty of oil in the market. And we know the implication of this. When the crude oil rises, it means that the demand in the market was more than the supply, so they had to save in the stockpile. Now, what does this mean? It means that when demand is low, what happened? Prices are definitely going to drop, and this was one of the reasons we saw this whole move back to the downside. Now, without that, the other fundamental factors continue to support the price of crude oil. For instance, the geopolitics is the big driver right now. Israel carried out an airstrike on Hamas leader in Qatar after earlier warning of an attack on Gaza. Now, this could further incite price of oil, as traders feared this could widen the Middle East conflict and possibly threaten oil supply routes. So price has a high tendency of jumping at this particular moment in time. Now, if we look at the technical structure we marked out here to guide our trading decisions this week, it has been within a descending channel since the beginning of this month, which is further evident with this connecting the series of lower lows and lower highs. We have this descending channel. But one interesting thing here is how this descending channel has been broken to the upside, and price continue to consolidate above that area to emphasize the indecision at this particular point in time. Now, to help me navigate this market today, I do have a simple trading setup on the 15 minutes time frame. Now, on the 15 minutes time frame, what I did here was to capture the character of price action since Friday's trading session. And look at this, we have an ascending trend line to work with, and you know how we use our ascending trend lines. Of course, as long as price remains above them, we shall continue to look out for patterns and structures that support buying ideas. Now, let's zoom into what has been going on here in the last 24 hours. We can see that we do have a range bound structure where price since yesterday afternoon has been confined within the $63.10 level and the $62.80 area to emphasize the prevailing uncertainty at this particular point in time. And for the fact that price remains above that ascending trend line, I kept a bullish bias in this market with a hope that price will break out of that resistance line to further confirm this bullish bias. Now, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you see that I do have a buy position triggered on the US crude oil. I think I bought somewhere around this ascending trend line, and the factors support it. Obviously, price remains above the ascending trend line. We found some buy pressure there, and we're looking to see price continue to rise from here. However, if price continues to find resistance around this $63.10 level, what is happening here? Okay, I think I will have to. Okay, here we go. So What I'm trying to say here is if price continues to find resistance around the $63.10 level, that is, buyers continue to find it difficult to break through, just like it did yesterday. We saw sharp rejections here. We saw it happen here, and of course we saw it happen during the early hours of today. If this continues, then we could see price take us out of our buy position, where the breakdown retest of both the trend line and the $62.80 level will incite selling ideas for us. So already below the $62.80, below that structure, then definitely our buyers will change towards a bearish turn. So this is basically what I am looking at on the US crude oil. So if price gets into this resistance line, I will move my stop loss on the buy positions to break even, while I continue to monitor price action around that particular area. So this is basically what I'm looking at on the US crude oil. A simple trading setup. Price remains above the ascending trend in my decisions today. As to my explanations, or you need some further clarifications, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I'll take about 5-10 seconds off. Let's see if there are any questions before we move on to the next asset on our watch list. Stay tuned in. All right. So let's move on to the next asset because of time. We already spent too much time here during the e-cups. So the next asset we are looking at this morning is the GBPUSD, and of course we have been buying the GBPUSD since the beginning of the week. Remember, this was the structure we marked out at the beginning of the week. We saw a range bound structure, and by the time we were running the live session on Monday, price action had already broken out of the resistance line, and I did mention that we wait for price to come back, retest the structure to join that uptrend scenario, and that was exactly what happened. Then price went on to break out of the 1.3550 level to give us an opportunity to add more buy positions to the existing trade, and of course we saw price move over 80 pips in that direction before sellers came in yesterday, following the what's it called again, the non-farm payroll benchmark revision. Now, with the way things are going at the moment, the pound is holding up because market expect that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rate. But the USPPI data. Until then, the GBPUSD will likely stay choppy around the zone, with upside potential if US inflation data comes in soft. Please hold. Place a trade here. Give me a moment, please. Okay, so like I was going to be subject to what happens during the PPI data today, and to help me navigate this market, I have a simple structure on the 15 minutes time frame. Let me pull that out quickly. So I have a descending channel on the, and this was This reveals how the market participants have behaved in the last 24 hours. So what you see here is from Tuesday's trading session, and we saw this descending channel in place, and price right now is gradually moving towards that resistance line again. Will it drop to the downside, or are we going to see price break out of that structure? I'm leaning towards a bullish bias here on the GBPUSD, as market is looking forward to Fed cutting interest rate anytime soon. But it's not yet cast in stone, as market will still wait for the PPI and CPI data to further confirm inflation in the United States. So to help me navigate this market today, I have this structure here. Price has broke out of this one, came back to retest, and look at the character of those candles. We have some sharp rejections, giving us a couple of hammer candle situations where sellers were finding it difficult to drop below this trend line, which from a technical standpoint is a sign that buyers are still present in the market, and we may likely see price move to the upside. So I think I'm going to be closing my sell position on the GBPUSD, as it appears that things are beginning to change at this point in time. So I do have and looking to add more at the break of this 1.35425. So I will just place a buy stop order above the structure with the hopes of capturing that uptrend continuation. So I just placed a buy stop order there, and let's see how far that is going to go. Now, if I am going to consider selling, I wouldn't sell unless we see price break down this 1.35200 level. So I'm not going to be selling unless I see price break down the structure. Let me mark that lock structure 1.35200 level. So if price can break down that structure, retest it, of course, we want to consider selling at this point. But generally speaking, and based on the fundamentals, it appears that the pound sterling will take advantage of the sentiment that Fed will be cutting interest rates to push price to the upside. So let's wait and see what happens around the 1.345425. A breakout retest will definitely confirm this uptrend scenario. So if you're a cautious trader, you might want to wait patiently for the breakout retest to buy. But I already placed a buy on that position. Let's see how this is going to play out. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I'll just move right into the XAUUSD because of time. I'm already running out of time here. So assets we are going to be looking at right now is my favorite, of course, and that is the XAUUSD. And since the beginning of the week, and since we bought just right above the structure, price had moved over 600 pips to hit another 24 hours seen price retrace a bit to the downside. So I think gold is riding on rate cut expectations at the moment, and in addition to that, we also have global tensions. But today's US PPI data is the key short-term driver. Any weakness in inflation could send it towards new highs, while stronger data may cause a temporary pullback. Now, to help me navigate this market this week, I'm thinking that the price will continue to the upside. Look at this trend line here, the resistance line of the potential ascending channel. We saw it got broken on Monday, I think, and then we saw price come back to retest the structure yesterday evening, and it appears this could be the platform that will incite the second leg to the upside. Now, to help me navigate this market today, I have a simple structure on the 15 minutes time frame. Now, scaling down into the 15 minutes time frame, this is what I was able to come up with. Okay, so I captured the character of price action since yesterday night. So we have a trend line right here, and then fast forward to the last 4 to 5 hours, you can see price has been consolidating between the 3,000 and the 3,643 to further emphasize the prevailing uncertainty at this particular point in time. And the fact that price still remains above this trend is intact. And if we also consider the sentiment, the global tension and rate cut expectations, the path of least resistance remains to the upside. But we will need a confirmation to be sure that the upside is quite certain. And what we need right now is price breaking out of this range bound structure, that is the resistant line at the 3,648 to capitalize on that uptrend scenario. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Though I do have a buy, I do have a sell, and I'm going to be placing another buy stop order just right above that resistant line to capture that uptrend continuation. So I will do that just right away, right above that structure, hopefully. However, if in as much as we're looking at a bullish potential in this market, we need to also take into account the possibilities that sellers can also come in, where the breakdown retest of this support line could incite selling ideas. Now, for instance, if the US dollar, like we've been seeing now, that is trying to recover slightly, especially as traders position ahead of today's US producer price index and tomorrow's consumer price index. And if it so happens that this data comes in hotter than expected, we could see the dollar gain traction and of course cap the uptrend scenario we are looking at in this market. So we have a simple structure right here, a range bound. So we do wait patiently for a signal to come, and this will come in the form of either price breaking out the resistant line to give us an opportunity to buy, or the breakdown of the support line to give us an opportunity to sell. We'll need to wait for confirmations to happen before jumping into that sell. So as we can see, we have a simple trading setup right here, a range bound structure, an ascending trend line, and let's see how the market will play out around this particular structure. So I continue to maintain a bullish bias here. Let's see how it goes, and of course, if there is anything new, I will definitely update us on both my trading view and Telegram. I made myself very clear here, but if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I'll take about 5-10 seconds off. Let's see if there are any questions before we go ahead to round off on today's Forex Morning Mastery. All right, everyone. Here we go, where we come to the end of today. We had some e-caps during the course of the session, but I'm glad that we were able to run through these assets before time goes against me, actually. So today we were able to run through the 3 financial instruments on my watch list for today. That is the gold commodity, the US crude oil, and of course the GBPUSD, where we were able to identify simple trading setups that will be guiding our trading decisions today. And I do hope you are able to mark out the structures accordingly on your chart, as we are going to be using them to help us navigate the market today. And please